So here's the scenario. The Cleveland Browns are just beginning to realize they might have struck pure, unadulterated gold with Shedeur Sanders. He's impossibly cool under pressure, surgically clinical in the pocket, and commanding respect like a 10-year veteran. And just as the dog pound dares to believe they might finally have their franchise quarterback, a whisper begins to snake its way through the league. Jerry Jones is watching, and not just watching, plotting. If you know anything about Jerry Jones, you know this man doesn't just own a football team. He orchestrates a billion-dollar theatrical production. This isn't just about Super Bowls for him. It's about empires. It's about influence. It's about legacy. And in Shedeur Sanders, he sees more than just a quarterback. He sees dynasty material. And that's precisely when things start getting messy, because this isn't your run-of-the-mill quarterback scouting situation. This is Jerry Jones we're talking about, the oil tycoon turned NFL power broker with a flair for high drama and a Rolodex full of billion-dollar contacts. The moment Shedeur's name started bubbling up in conversations outside Cleveland, Jones wasn't just intrigued, he was activated. Sources close to the situation say it started after one particular practice where Shedeur absolutely lit up the Browns' first-string defense, the kind of breakout performance that leaves coaches speechless and rival scouts scrambling for their phones. Jones got the footage, watched it on a loop, and from that moment on, he wasn't thinking like a general manager. He was thinking like a media mogul. Shedeur Sanders wasn't just another talented rookie. He was a brand, a walking, talking, deal-making machine. The son of one of the most iconic athletes of all time, the heir to prime time, but with his own distinct flavor, more disciplined, less flash, yet just as captivating. The kind of player who could sell jerseys in Tokyo and headline ad campaigns in Times Square. And what does Jerry love more than football? Merch. So here's where things get spicy. Jerry couldn't just pick up the phone and call Cleveland. That would be tampering. And while Jones has never been afraid to dance with the rules, this situation was too high profile to risk being reckless. So he got creative. Enter the whispers. Quiet phone calls crackling between intermediaries. Anonymous dinners in shadowy private rooms. Agents calling agents. Friends calling mutual friends. And in the middle of it all, a very familiar face with a very personal connection. Deion Sanders. Because here's the real kicker. Deion and Jerry go way back. Cowboys royalty. One of the most electrifying eras in Dallas history. And guess who Jerry still listens to? Long after the confetti has settled. Prime. So when Deion started subtly dropping Shedeur's name into the conversation, Jerry wasn't just listening. He was planning, meticulously building a framework for a move so massive, so outrageous, it would shake the league to its very core. And on the surface, it's easy to frame it as just a football move. The Cowboys need a quarterback of the future. Dak's situation is murky. The fans are restless. The NFC East is more brutal than ever. But deep down, this isn't about quarterback depth. This is about legacy. Jerry doesn't want to just rebuild the Cowboys. He wants to immortalize them. He wants to die knowing he didn't just run a football team. He built the biggest sports brand in the world, bigger than the Yankees, bigger than Real Madrid, bigger than the NFL itself. And he believes Shedeur is the keystone to that vision, because Shedeur isn't just a guy who can move the chains. He's a face, a narrative, the first quarterback of the NFL's next media era, the kind of player who can launch a streaming series, close a Nike deal, headline a Netflix documentary, and still show up on Sunday and throw for 300 yards. For Jerry, it's not about whether Shedeur can play, it's about whether he can become the face of the Cowboys the way Michael Jordan became the face of Nike, the way Brady became the face of the league, the way Prime once was for Dallas. And that's why he's willing to blow it all up. The trade proposal currently floating in the back channels, it's not your average 2 picks and a player deal. We're talking historic, multiple first-round picks, star players, cap gymnastics, a package so outrageous, it wouldn't just reshape the Cowboys, it would gut them. And still Jerry's ready to sign the dotted line, because in his mind, it's worth it. Meanwhile, in Cleveland, chaos brews. You've got one camp inside the building, pushing to build around Shedeur to let him develop and lead. But then there's the other camp, the one seeing dollar signs, branding opportunities, licensing deals, crossover potential, the kind of national attention Cleveland hasn't seen, well, ever. And those factions, they're clashing. Some in the front office want to protect Shedeur's growth. Others are terrified they won't be able to afford him or keep him happy once Jerry starts dangling the Hollywood carrot. And somewhere in the middle is Shedeur himself, just trying to play football while billionaires plot and bicker over his future. It's a ticking time bomb, because let's not forget, Jerry Jones almost always gets what he wants. It may not happen tomorrow, it may not even happen this season, but Jerry plays the long game. He plants seeds, builds alliances, and waits for the right injury, the right contract dispute, the right piece of leverage. And when the moment hits, boom. The league watches in horror as Shedeur Sanders gets traded to Dallas. ESPN blows up. NFL Twitter has a collective meltdown. And somewhere in his Texas mansion, Jerry Jones sits back, sips his scotch, and grins. Because this isn't just about getting the next great quarterback. It's about writing the final chapter of the Jerry Jones saga. The chapter where he outmaneuvers the league one last time. Where he combines star power, financial firepower, and sheer Southern stubbornness to flip the NFL upside down, where he takes a gamble so big, it either cements his legend, or ends in spectacular collapse. And that's the story, that's the drama, because let's be honest, no matter where you stand on Jerry Jones, you're watching, because love him or hate him, the man knows how to build a spectacle, and Shedeur Sanders might just be his final masterpiece. So now the question is, will it happen? Will Cleveland cave under pressure and cash out early? Will Shedeur start pushing for the move if the Browns' dysfunction gets worse? Will Dion get involved directly, or stay lurking in the shadows? And if the trade does go down, will it be the beginning of a new Cowboys dynasty, or the most expensive midlife crisis in NFL history? You decide. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Are we witnessing the most ambitious power play in modern football, or is Jerry writing checks his team can't cash? Make sure to subscribe for more explosive NFL drama, because if this Shedeur Sanders story keeps unfolding the way it's going, you won't want to miss what comes next. And today's Mastermind or Madman Award, it goes to none other than Jerry Jones for attempting the most outrageous quarterback heist since the Herschel Walker trade. Let the Empire Games begin, because let's be real here, if there's anyone in the NFL wild enough, rich enough, and stubborn enough to actually pull this off, it's Jerry Jones. This man has made an entire career out of proving people wrong, out of pushing a line, then stepping over it, then building a stadium on it. He's the owner who once fired two-time Super Bowl winning coach Jimmy Johnson, because get this, Jerry wanted more credit. The guy literally built a $1.3 billion stadium and called it Jerry World. He's not interested in fitting in with the league's buttoned-up owners. He's interested in rewriting the rulebook and making sure it's printed with his signature on the front page. And now he sees Shedeur Sanders as the golden ticket, the final play, the legacy lock. But this isn't just about football. Oh no, this is about taking the most valuable sports franchise in the world and launching it into a whole new stratosphere. It's about taking the Dallas Cowboys, the already massive, already iconic America's team, and turning them into a global cultural force. A quarterback like Shedeur isn't just a signal caller, he's a movement. Young, dynamic, polished with pedigree. He's got the media savvy of a Hollywood actor, the poise of a veteran, and the marketing appeal of a pop star. And Jerry, he's drooling at the potential. Picture it, Shedeur Sanders walking onto the field at AT&T Stadium, packed house, prime time, his jersey already the top seller in the country, cameras everywhere, streaming deals, late night interviews, docuseries, primetime 2.0, but this time in 4K, and sponsored by a dozen major brands, and every dollar, every deal, every headline leads back to Dallas. That's Jerry's real play here. It's not about winning one Super Bowl, it's about owning the entire decade, about locking in cultural dominance. But that's what makes this whole situation so risky, because if it works, Jerry becomes the ultimate football emperor, the man who rebuilt the Cowboys brand around the most marketable quarterback of the next generation, who fused business, entertainment, and gridiron glory into a multi-billion-dollar dynasty. But if it doesn't, if Shedeur flames out, if the trade guts the team, if the league steps in with sanctions, if public backlash builds over tampering and favoritism, then Jerry becomes the villain, the overreaching owner who risked it all and lost, the man who couldn't leave the game gracefully, so he tried one last power move, and ended up torpedoing the team's future. And let's not forget, everyone is watching, the owners, the league office, the media, rival GMs, GMs are circling like vultures, waiting for Jerry to make one false move. The moment this plan becomes public, it turns from a secret power play into a full-blown circus. League investigators will start sniffing around. The Browns will go into full lockdown mode. Deion Sanders will be forced to clarify statements he never even made. And Shedeur, he's going to be right in the middle of it. Can he handle that? Can a rookie barely out of college survive being the center of the most high-stakes, high-drama tug-of-war the league has seen in decades? That's the billion-dollar question, because Shedeur didn't ask for this. He just wanted to play, to prove himself, to work his way up without writing his father's name, and now he's become the centerpiece in a war between two NFL kingdoms, one crumbling under internal division, the other foaming at the mouth for a generational reset. It's poetic and brutal all at once, and the irony, Jerry might not even care if it's messy, because for him this isn't just about success, it's about spectacle. He's never been afraid of controversy. He feeds on it. It keeps the cameras rolling, the merch flying, the Cowboys relevant even when they're not contenders. And adding Shedeur to that equation, it's like handing a flamethrower to a man already playing with fire. You don't just get football drama, you get cultural dominance. But that's exactly why the stakes are so terrifying, because this isn't just Jerry rolling the dice on a hotshot quarterback. This is him putting his entire empire on the line, betting that he can outmaneuver the league, that he can manage the media storm, that Shedeur will thrive under pressure, that the trade package won't cripple the team, that the league won't hammer him with violations, and if even one of those things goes sideways, the whole thing collapses, because this move, this wild secret, potentially illegal maneuver, is a house of cards. It only works if everything goes right. The moment someone talks, the moment someone leaks an email, the moment a mic picks up the wrong name at the wrong time, boom, scandal, tampering, investigations, fines, suspensions, congressional hearings. For all we know, the NFL hates when you make them look like they've lost control. And Jerry, he's poking that bear, but that's Jerry Jones. He's never played by the rules. He's always believed that if you win big enough, loud enough, and first enough, the rules will bend around you. He might be right, or he might be catastrophically wrong. Either way, this moment, this plan, this obsession with Shedeur Sanders, it's about to define the end of Jerry's reign. Will he go out as the bold genius who changed the game forever, or the megalomaniac who let ambition destroy his team? Only time will tell. But while we wait for the hammer to drop, while rumors swirl and phone calls keep happening in the dark, there's one thing we know for sure. Shedeur Sanders has become the most valuable rookie in football, not because of a stat sheet, not because of a highlight reel, but because two franchises, one ascending, one aging, are quietly tearing each other apart for a shot at him. That's power, that's pressure, that's the modern NFL, because what we're witnessing here isn't just a football storyline, it's Shakespeare with cleats. The aging King Jerry Jones, staring down the final chapters of his rule. The prodigal prince, Shedeur Sanders, still wet behind the ears but carrying the weight of a royal football bloodline. The torn kingdom of Cleveland, fractured from within, all set against the backdrop of a billion-dollar battlefield, where egos clash, reputations hang by a thread, and one wrong move could trigger a war. This isn't your average QB trade rumor. This is something far grander, something far darker. This is Jerry's last stand, and it's not just about football anymore. It's about immortality. Jerry has built his empire one headline at a time, 30 years at the top, decades of wins, losses, scandals, and showmanship. But the clock's ticking, the camera pans closer, the credits are starting to roll on the Jones era, and he knows it, he feels it. So what does a man like Jerry do when he sees the end coming? He doubles down. He tries to make the biggest move of his career, not just to win another Super Bowl. That's small potatoes. That's what other owners aim for. Jerry, he's playing for something bigger. He wants to own the moment when sports stop being about sports and become full-on entertainment empires. And Shedeur Sanders is the centerpiece of that transition. He's not just a quarterback. He's the vehicle, the bridge between two generations, between Deion's swagger and a new, quieter kind of star power, between old-school Sunday football and the 24/7 streaming era spectacle, between highlight reels and docu-series. Think about it. Shedeur has everything Jerry could possibly want in a quarterback: charisma, pedigree, marketability, and most importantly, control. Shedeur hasn't been cemented into any team's culture yet. He hasn't tasted full-blown NFL stardom. Jerry wants to shape him, mold him into the ultimate Cowboys icon, the quarterback who doesn't just win games, he sells the whole damn league. But the more you zoom in, the more complicated this plan gets, because Cleveland isn't just sitting there, twiddling their thumbs. They're not stupid. They know they've got something special in Shedeur, and the whispers, they're getting louder. Coaches talking in hushed tones, PR teams suddenly panicking over leaks, ownership starting to get twitchy. There's no official trade request. Not yet, no paperwork, but something's changed. The vibes off. The locker room knows it, the fans can feel it, and Shedeur, he's trying to keep his head down, but you can tell it's getting to him. The tension, the politics, the weight of being the guy everyone wants. He's still showing up, still doing the work, but there's a storm building behind his eyes. And then there's Dion. You know he's in this. Even if he's not in the room, even if he's not making the calls, he's in the air like smoke before the fire, because this is his son. And say what you want about Coach Prime, but he protects his family like a lion. You think he's going to sit quietly while his son gets caught in a power struggle between two NFL teams? Not a chance. The moment this deal gets real, Dion becomes the unofficial kingmaker. He's the one person who can pick up the phone, say one sentence, and tilt the entire situation in or out of Jerry's favor. And that's what makes this so dangerous, because when family loyalty meets billion-dollar ambition, people stop playing fair. And let's not forget about the NFL itself. The league hates this kind of chaos. They want trades to be neat, legal, sanitized, on the books, press released and pre-approved. They do not want shady back-channel deals and legacy owners skirting tampering laws through mutual friends. But that's exactly what's happening here. The second the league gets a whiff of something formal, texts, meetings, even a verbal agreement, boom, investigations, fines, sanctions, think Spygate, but with even more PR firepower. But Jerry, he's counting on one thing, that by the time they try to stop him, it'll be too late. Because let's say he pulls it off, let's say Shedeur is wearing that star on his helmet by next season, everything changes. The Cowboys become the global NFL team overnight. Shedeur becomes the face of American football for an entirely new generation. Prime gets elevated, Texas gets reborn. Jerry goes out not with a whisper, but with the biggest bang since he bought the team, and everyone else, they'll have to live with it. But what happens if it goes sideways? What happens if Jerry swings and misses? Let's walk through the fallout, because it's real. Cleveland burns, fans riot, the locker room fractures. They traded away the one thing that could have given them stability for the first time in years, and they did it for a deal they didn't even fully control. Shedeur gets thrown into the fire in Dallas. Expectations sky high, every snap picked apart, every play compared to legends, and if he falters even for a moment, that Dallas media machine will chew him up and spit him out. Meanwhile, Jerry's sitting on a depleted roster, cap space wrecked, draft picks gone, front office under investigation, and a reputation, already polarizing, now completely scorched. The legacy he was chasing, reduced to a cautionary tale. The NFL's kingmaker turned kingpin. So yeah, the stakes, massive, which is why we're all glued to this. Why this isn't just another trade rumor, but a full-blown NFL epic. The tension is thick, the players know it, the fans feel it. This is what happens when billionaires treat football like a chessboard and quarterbacks like pawns, or kings. And in the center of it all, Shedeur Sanders, trying to keep his head on straight, trying to focus on the game, trying to prove that he belongs in this league because of his own skill, not his name, not his dad, not the headlines. And that's what makes this story so captivating, because no matter how rich, how powerful, or how strategic the players around him get, at the end of the day, Shedeur has to play, on the field, in front of the cameras, with the weight of two franchises on his back. So now we wait for a leak, a press conference, a tweet that changes everything, because the deal isn't done, but the drama, oh, the drama is already in overtime. And just when you think this saga couldn't get any more absurd, you realize it's not even close to over, because behind the curtain, the pieces are still moving. Jerry isn't backing off.
If anything, he's pressing harder, whispering in ears at ownership meetings, casually bringing up Sanders' name over state dinners with NFL execs, testing the water like a shark circling just outside the spotlight. And Cleveland, oh, they're rattled. Every press conference becomes a minefield. Coaches saying all the right things. We believe in Shedeur, he's our guy. But their eyes, twitchy. Front office personnel suddenly unavailable for comment. Players answering questions with that classic "I don't know what's going on, man" smirk that says they definitely know what's going on. And Shedeur, he's walking into practice every day like it's business as usual, but you can tell he's feeling it. The wait, the speculation, the buzz. How could he not? Half the league is talking about him, like he's already gone, and the other half is wondering why no one saw this coming. Because this is what happens when a player becomes bigger than the system, when talent, timing, and legacy collide in a way the league just isn't built to handle. Shedeur's not just another QB prospect anymore. He's a flashpoint, a symbol, a mirror for every tension in the NFL: money versus tradition, marketability versus development, control versus chaos. And Jerry Jones, he's standing there with the matchbook. So what's the endgame here? Does Jerry ride in like a Texas outlaw, throw everything on the table, and walk away with the next face of football? Does Cleveland hold the line, dig in, and build around Shedeur like they should have from the start? Or does the league step in too late as usual, and try to clean up the mess after the fallout? Either way, it's coming. The tipping point, the press release, the blockbuster trade, or the dramatic collapse of negotiations. But one thing is certain, nothing about this ends quietly. Jerry doesn't do quiet, and Shedeur, he's no longer just part of the story, he is the story. So buckle up, because whether this ends in glory, scandal, or a generational power shift, you'll be able to say you saw it all happen before the headlines hit. Hit that subscribe button, stay locked in, and let me know in the comments, is Jerry building a football empire, or writing his own tragic finale? And today's bonus shoutout, the most likely to be drafted by a billionaire's ego award, goes to Shedeur Sanders, because sometimes, greatness isn't just measured in yards, it's measured in how many billionaires try to own your future. We'll be back soon with the next chapter, because this one, oh, it's far from over.